Hey guys, Cody from Luponics here, and today we're going to be talking about Boyka Undisputed. Boyka Undisputed is directed by Todor Chapanov. I believe that's how you say his name. Again, I'm horrible with names, forgive me. But yeah, it's directed by him, and going into this movie, I was a little scared because if you look at Todor Chapanov's record, it looks like it's a ton of B movies that I've never even heard of any of them before, and it just looks like some Sharknado stuff, but worse. Like, I was really concerned and worried before going into this movie. But I will be very happy and surprised to say that I found this movie very enjoyable. There was a ton of love and hard work that went into this movie. Everything from the shots to the action scenes to the stunt choreography, like, it was all very well done, and it really surprised me because you look at the guy's portfolio and you're like, oh man, this is going to be bad. 5 out of 10 at best, you know? And man, there a lot of things really impressed me about this movie. Going into positives here, which there are a lot of, I felt the movie was shot very well. It was directed very well. There was not a single scene in the movie that I felt like didn't need to be there. It was a very coherent and logical message throughout the movie. Everything that happened, I felt like you really needed to see for it to happen, to go down. Like, that there was no necessary long drawn out drama or bull crap or anything like that. They did a really good job at pacing with the story. In fact, I would say, I believe it's in the first 10 minutes, there's already like 3 fight scenes. Now, they're not that long, but still, like, the movie does a pretty good job on pacing, and even when there's not action or crazy things going on, you're still invested in the characters and the story. And speaking of which, the story in Boyka Undisputed, minor spoilers here for the last movie, but Boyka finally gets free in Undisputed 3, and we come to find out that in the 4th installment that he is doing small fights around, locally, kind of underground things, just to raise money for his local church and to live. And he gets an opportunity to go into something bigger because, why not? More money, more help for the church, more help for him, just to keep living, He gets offered a chance to go into a bigger fight, a bigger tournament. He goes into it, and one of the people that he fights there, he accidentally ends up killing. Which, good fight too, by the way, very entertaining. And you're like, how do you accidentally kill somebody? But it makes sense in the movie. Boyka's really torn up and upset about this, so he ends up figuring out if the guy has any, if he's married, if he has kids, anything like that. And he actually travels back to Russia, where his original, epic prison stay was. And he travels back to Russia to find this woman and to apologize to her, to basically get her forgiveness. And he even states a line in the movie that he's not here for her, he's here to save himself, because he's really truly regretted what he did. And you come to find out that apparently the guy was fighting because they owed a lot of money to the Russian mob, because they opened a community center, and now they're basically holding that over their heads and like, hey, we need money, hey, we want money, we own you, blah blah, you've heard it before. And through shenanigans, he ends up fighting for the mob boss that owns the woman, and he's like, okay, well, we'll do 3 fights, and if I fight for you, you'll set her free. That's basically the gist of the story. There's a few more things thrown in there, but that's the gist of it. You understand. I'm serious. Like, through the fight scenes, through the action going on, through the stunt choreography, I was very impressed that, like, you could tell that these guys were professionals, that they knew what they were doing. A lot of the fights, when they were going on, looked like they were taken in one shot, or very few shots. There's hardly any cutting while the action is going on, and I really appreciated that. I cannot stand a movie when a fight scene's going on and you have 50 million cuts going on at one time and you can't even tell what's going on in the first place. It's very annoying. And this movie, I mean, seriously, for the most part, when a fight's going down, when something's going on, like, you see it clearly. It is displayed in front of the screen. And there was a few times in the movie where I do one of my ooh moments, like something that was just so cool or so good or just so bone crushing that you're just like, ooh, you know. And I would probably say that there's a good 3 or 4 of those. Like there were some very impressive stunts throughout this movie. The acting was okay. Like everybody was decent. Nobody was horribly bad. Obviously, the best performer would be Scott Adkins as Boyka. He always does a good job. He plays Boyka very well. And it's very interesting to see the dynamic of him finally being free and out of jail, into how his life will progress, into how he develops as a person. And throughout the movie, you really do see him grow and question what his life is and what he's really trying to do. And I really enjoyed those little insight bits into his life and just seeing Boyka develop as a character. Like I said, throughout the movie, everything felt like it was needed, and it was very much in place to what it needed to be. Very enjoyable. It clocks in at literally exactly an hour and a half. But that's not a weakness at this time. It's a strength. Like there's no bullcrap drama. There's no extra scenes. There's no stupid romance or anything like that. It's seriously just like he's about his business and he's gonna take care of things. And it was very refreshing to see that there wasn't like a shoved romance or a shoved plot point or a second story going on. It was just you know what's going on, and it's gonna get taken care of. It's gonna get done. Another positive about the movie is that Boyka goes crazy with a baseball bat. And you'll see that towards the end. Very good. But throughout the movie, I would say there's probably a good 8 or 9 fight scenes again. Like, very enjoyable throughout, very well paced. You're not going to have to do that whole, oh, there's something cool at the beginning and oh, there's something cool at the end. There's very much things to enjoy and experience throughout the movie, and it really plays into the movie's strength. Even though it's an hour and a half, it really feels like you're invested in these characters. You want to see what's going to happen next, and you're wanting to see the cool fight scenes. Very well paced. Major props for that. Seriously, not enough movies do that nowadays. It's about his business and it's taking care of it. I really appreciated that. At the end of the movie, you see that this film is dedicated to a Danny Lerner. And apparently this was the guy that directed the second and third Expendables movies, Olympus Has Fallen, and a ton of other movies throughout the decade. And when you're seeing that right there, that kind of makes more sense as to why so much care and love was given into this movie. It clearly shows throughout. And director Chapanov really put the care and dedication that it needed to be put in. It is not a perfect movie by any means, but I would say that it's a very good one. Definitely go check this out for sure if you haven't seen it. And going into the negatives here, there's not that many. There's just a little few gripes and complaints I have. Some of the negatives would definitely be when the action or when the stunts are going on, there's not really any music. It's just them fighting, which that's cool. That's fine. But I felt like there could have been a little music added to kind of give a little more effect and dramatization to some scenes. Just to give it a little more epicness and a little more scale, make you feel like add a little more tense situation to the movies. They do kind of add something in, I think, to the second to last fight that fit it really well. But for the most part throughout the movie, it's when the fight scenes are going down, it's just them fighting and there's not really anything going on. Which again, it's a minor gripe, nothing really crazy, but it could have benefited from it for sure. Another thing, I would say that the plot is kind of predictable. Even though I did praise that it was about his business and you know what's going on, you've got the typical thing, we made a deal, and obviously everything doesn't go cookie cutter 100% natural like it's supposed to, and you see that coming from a mile away. Still not a negative thing. I still very much enjoyed the movie, but there's no curveball or twist and turn there. It's a mob boss, he's shady, he's greedy, and everything's not going to go according to plan. That's all. And the last thing is you can kind of just feel throughout the movie that it's a smaller work film. There's not so much of a scale in this movie to make it feel a little more impactful than it is. It's literally just Boyka going to Russia to fight some guy, and it would have been cool if there was a little more set pieces, a little more eye candy to see. But again, I do not dismiss this at all. All of these complaints are just very minor and just things I felt maybe could have bolstered and improved the movie just a little more. But for the most part, seriously, I'm going to give Boyka Undisputed a solid 8.5 out of 10. This movie is even on Netflix now. That's where I watched it from. Go watch the movie, go buy the movie, go support Scott Adkins. He's a fantastic actor and stunt choreographer. I would still probably say Ninja 2 is his best movie that I've ever seen. But still, this is definitely up there. I would say it's definitely in his top 5 for sure. Probably the best, if not second to best, Undisputed movie. But for sure, go out and see it. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. And again, tons of more martial arts reviews coming soon. I cannot wait for the Defenders next week as well. That's going to be great. But yeah, guys, just let me know what you thought down in the comments. Give me some movies you think I should see or check out. I'm always down for some cool fighting and cool action scenes coming up soon. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time.